Open bar.
Open bar. Open bar.
What's going on, y'all? Another episode of Open Bar Podcast. It's your host, Snoop Fam First. At my left is the immortal cheat code, aka somebody beat her please, because she is killing the game. And to my right is Jordan, aka the future of calisthenics. We're gonna jump right into. I'm gonna say that every time. We're jumping right into these topics, the intros. Y'all know who we are already. That's why y'all clicked on the video. So this video, I want to break down calisthenics in a whole. We want to know what do you think is the most beneficial move in calisthenics? You know, we know calisthenics is everything you do with your body weight, the pull up, the push up, the dip, etc. But which one gets you the strongest and which one allows you to function the best? So we're gonna go with the movements that we have in competition because that's just the most fair way to, categorize a move. So I'm always gonna start with Chi. What do you feel is the most beneficial movement in calisthenics? Like, what gets you the strongest? Which movement?
I'm gonna say push-ups. I'm gonna say push-ups. Yeah, I'm gonna say push-ups.
All right. Why do you think it's the push-ups?
I just feel like it's something that everybody could do. It's a basic move. Even like the beginner of the beginners, that's like the first movement that they can master. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that move can be taken from beginner to advanced and get you strong.
Okay.
Like overall, just upper body, sometimes even your lower body, depending on how many reps you do, your lower body start kicking in with them push-ups. So.
Okay. Jordan, same question. What's the most beneficial move in calisthenics? Which movement gets you the strongest?
I think, in my opinion, it would have to be a muscle up. I think she do have a point on it being beneficial even for beginners. But if we're looking at it as like what is really most beneficial, I think it's a muscle up. When you combine an explosive pull with a straight bar dip up top, you're doing both pull and push in one movement, plus the amount of core work that you need to even get up over the bar. It's a lot, especially if you want to do clean muscle ups as well. And from right then and there, you can also combine it with the straight bar dips, and like I said, it's an explosive pull at the end of the day. I think that's the most beneficial, honestly.
Okay. I think for me, in my personal experience, I'm gonna say the dip is the most well-rounded move. It gets you the strongest overall. And that's just from my personal experience, because when I was training for my battle, I had a battle in 2017, my first bar brawl, my only bar brawl, and there was a lot of dips in it. So a lot of my training was heavy dips, and that's when I started to notice, like, I'm getting very strong because majority of my workouts are dip based. So when I ask this question, because I agree with both of you, because that's the problem you see in we are very balanced. We do a lot of muscle ups, a lot of push. We're not a lopsided team. We almost prefer the push up because the push up is the foundation. So does that make it outweigh the muscle up? Because the push up is the, like the muscle up, trust me, like everything Jordan said is true, but that's not something, your movement, push up, everybody can do that.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
The muscle up,
like
a select few can do it.
Variations of push ups. You can pull with push ups too. You use a bar, you can,
I didn't think of that one.
Yeah, you could do that too. Like, I just feel like push ups are like, definitely the foundation.
But let me ask y'all this now.
A lot of core.
Which is the hardest movement out of everything?
The hardest?
The hardest I feel like is muscle up.
It's definitely not the push up.
No.
I feel like it's muscle up.
Muscle up? What you think? I'm about to tell. I want to hear what he has to say, and then I'm gonna tell you which one I think is the hardest.
The hardest. So what are we doing with competition movements?
With competition.
So like the pull up, the push up, the dip, the squat, the burpee, and I said muscle up already.
Yeah. It's just
so
five.
those 5.
Yeah.
Okay. Out of those 5, the hardest to do. It has to be the muscle up.
Nah.
It has to be the muscle up.
You know, I think it's pull-ups.
Pull-ups is
The hardest
very,
one because you could get the least out of them. Think about it. You're in a comp. If you get 2 minutes, we could easily get 100 plus in 2 minutes. Pull-ups, 2 minutes, we're looking at what, 60,
Yeah,
70?
but by that logic though, the muscle up you're doing less. Because if you can only do 20 pull-ups, that means you're cranking out maybe 10 muscle ups.
But let me ask you this: are you benefiting off of a movement that is the hardest? No. The harder it is, the more benefits you get out of it. No.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
think of it as a muscle up. You're using that explosive pull into getting into a straight bar dip.
But you also have the greatest risk.
True.
I know
Injuries, yeah.
the muscle up is the most injury prone one
even
in the game.
pulling too much is risky.
So
It's a
okay.
hard move,
So
that's why.
let's put that into perspective now, because your answer was the push up, and the push up, I can attest to this. Even if I have an injury, you can still push.
Facts.
You
I
know,
agree.
like other movements, they like if you're like with pull-ups. Example why I hate pull-ups is because your lats, your hands, your grip, it's so many things. Because there's so many times where I want to do more pull-ups. My lat is like, give me more, but my hands is like, nah, big fella, get off the bar. I'm bleeding. Go home. You feel me?
Yeah.
So it takes away from the pull-up for me. And the people that do the high pull-ups, the Sergios, that they have pictures where their hands look like horror movies. You know, I saw you one just the other day. The chalk doesn't help because that rips your hand in half.
That dries
Makes
your
it
hand out.
worse.
So-
Yeah. So is that put into the mix when we think of what's the most beneficial? Because there has to be components of what gets you stronger, what is the safest to do in the long run, and you know, like the third topic that we're gonna bring up, what wins competition. So do you still think the muscle up is the most beneficial with all three of those?
I feel like I get stronger when I train muscle ups.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that. Because if I just train that, it makes my push a little easier and it makes my pull a little easier. Because if I think about it, if I'm gonna do like crazy sets on muscle ups one day and then I train that for like maybe a couple weeks, I go into pull sets in the next few weeks. I feel like I don't really have to pull as explosive as I did for those couple of weeks of muscling up. So it
I see
almost
what you're saying
feels
about that.
it almost feels a little like I'm not using as much energy as I would use for a muscle up.
Yeah.
So I feel like I get a little.
You do
know,
get some good plyometric with the muscle up.
No, but that makes sense because you're training the harder move. When it's like when you play a game on hard and then you go to the normal difficulty is nothing.
True.
Exactly.
So
that
that's what
bar
he's
and
doing
that pull
with the
becomes
muscle
a
up,
lot
yeah.
But
Because
the thing is too, the reason why I don't really knock off all the other movements is because the way we train, we make those movements super hard. Like 300 push-ups on broken. Like you said, it's a fundamental move. Any beginners could do it, but if you're doing that amount of volume, you can make that one of the hardest moves that might be in your set that day, and it'll be the most beneficial.
yeah, because
what
it
I
comes
mean?
down to the order.
Yeah.
You know, like you said, like when we want to train push, we'll do dips into
Before
push.
the yeah.
Yeah.
You know, because you want to make that move that you've mastered, you know, further your mastery. So, all right, let's jump into competition now. So a lot of these competitions, majority of these competitions are time-based. They give you a set time, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, whatever. Do the most you can do in this time. So when you look at these 5 basic moves that we said, pull up, push up, dip, squat, muscle up. Let's say burpee. Let's put burpee in there, right?
My bad, Joe.
Which one, because you made a point off air that we're gonna say on this is, you know, the pull up and the muscle up, they get you strong, they take a lot of strength, but in a competition setting, you're not putting up a big number because it's not a big number move.
Yeah.
Some people can, but you know, in a 2-minute frame, I think the most pull-ups I've seen in a competition has to be like maybe 60, maybe, and that was from like someone that's elite. You know, the average is like with a good form,
Yeah.
average is like maybe 40s,
Facts.
50s, you know? But with push-ups, I've seen squats, perfect example. You did 3 minutes of squats
3
at
minutes
the
of
last
squat,
competition.
173 unbroken, no pause.
Exactly. And one thing I can say about the squat, because I want to talk about the squat too, is every movement that I do, I stay calm. But for some reason, the squat turns up my body thermostat crazy. I start sweating. Like, it don't care if I'm under the AC.
Yeah.
Like, it just turns up your body heat. And I don't know if that's because I don't do them enough. I feel like I do squats enough to get past that, but I just think it's the squat in general. Because even burpees don't hit me like that.
Burpees hit me the
Yeah,
most.
burpees.
Squats, I feel the opposite. Squat, I feel like it calms me down. Like I could finally rest up my upper body.
So no, let me ask you this though, because when you first started, your squat game was horrible. So let's how does the squat? How did you break through that plateau to get to be able to do 3 minutes unbroken?
So, honestly, I think.
I'm definitely putting old footage of your squats.
Oh
in
yeah,
this
yeah,
episode.
do that, do that, definitely do that. I mean, before that, I did take a trip to DR, so my training kind of over there was a little different. Running mountains and running doing a lot of squats over there. I just kept that on the hush, but you know, it popped out in Brooklyn. But
Got you.
I honestly,
Okay.
I don't know what it was. I knew I needed to do something about them, so I was like training with Ed.
Ed's
Squat
game
game is crazy. And when you're with Ed all the time, he's gonna throw in some squat days. And I remember just being in Marcy all the time. We would just be like, you know what, bro, let's do some squats. And I would do his squat sets, and I'm like, oh, I'm dead. But eventually, I kind of gained a tolerance with squats, and I was able to like keep myself mentally calm. Because my problem was that when I did squats, it felt so unnatural for me because I'm always up here, and I was able to calm myself down a little bit more, and it got me to looking at these sets without pausing. So
Yeah.
3 minutes, I was looking at it as like, all right, let me just survive for 3 minutes and just not stop, just slow down, but don't stop, and that's how I got that 3 minutes. That was crazy, but
That's
yeah.
like-
So what about you? Because you're another one. When you first started, so I'll tell a little backstory. The Spartan requirements, when we first started, the requirements were they were tailored to be able to perform well in competition. We tailored our requirement to PUBJ. PUBJ was pull up, push up, dip, squat, and sit up. So all 5 of them components, we added the muscle up to the requirement for the advanced ranks, but the bronze level stuff had all 5 of them movements, and the squats, the legs killed you too.
Yeah.
So what changed in your training to achieve these high squat numbers? Because you're somebody that can squat big numbers now too.
Had to just keep incorporating them, like those lunges. Like, people squat a lot, but a lot of people don't do lunges, and those
Yeah.
lunges was like
Yeah.
time consuming,
Yeah.
and like it's a good leg workout. So I just had to keep incorporating stuff. I feel like the lunge actually makes your squat better too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That's why the girls' requirement has
And that
lunges
definitely helped.
and squats.
yeah, that definitely helped. That's like push into dip,
Yeah,
squat
exactly. Exactly.
into lunge, and
So what y'all think wins comps then? Squats?
So let's talk about competition. So PUBJ was 2 minutes of each movement, right? And like I said, this is what we formed a team for, because this was our game when we first started. So the girls, they were struggling with the pull up. They could not get the pull up. I think the closest was Trish and Paige, and they're cranking out maybe 5. But the squat, how the guys approach push-ups, the girl approach squats.
yeah.
But so the girls would win every competition I put them in. They won because their squat numbers would triple everybody else's anything, and we would win off of push-ups. So the girls emphasize on push-ups and squats, because I personally feel push-ups and squats, they win all of these competitions,
Yeah, I
all of
agree.
them,
I think
because
so.
those
I
are the
agree.
2 movements. Because think about it, a push-up, and I'll speak for myself, I can do 2.5 to 3 push-ups per second. So if you give me 2 minutes, I can crank triple digits easily, because that's how I train. And squats is almost the same thing. You like so like a pull-up, on average, they're doing like one pull-up every 2 seconds. And you're not cranking big numbers like that. You need the rest. But squats and push-ups, it's just about the breathing and the rhythm and etc. So what do you think? What do you think wins competitions? Which movement?
Competitions, for sure, I agree with the squats and the push. I'd say more towards the squats for sure, because I like, from my experience, you feel me, like that in Brooklyn, that squat game was crazy, and I think was my highest number. My push-ups was like a 120, but my squats was 173. The dips and the pull-ups kind of just, was there to add up a little bit of extra reps, but definitely push and squat for sure.
Yeah.
So, all right. Do you think that's kind of corny though?
What?
Well,
So all right. I can't remember what competition this was. There was one competition where it was, I can't remember where it was, but somebody put up they lost every other movement except for squat, and they won the competition. So are you the better athlete for the day, or you just have the best squat game? Because the overall gets tricky. You feel me?
Yeah.
The overall is everything added up: push, pull, squat, and that's who won. But if you're putting up crazy squat numbers, because that's why I like the individual stuff. I like the competitions that be like first place in pull-ups, first place in push-ups, because and the overall athlete, of course. But like the squat number, like I said, some people, or like push-ups. Let's say there's a competition. Let's say I do one pull-up, one dip, one squat, and I save all my energy for push-ups. And I train push and I crank out a fucking 400 clip or something, and I win the overall. Am I the best athlete that day? You did middle numbers with every movement, but I just went super AP on one. There's always loopholes.
I feel like that's just that was your game plan for.
That's tough.
Yeah, but
It happens, though.
That's a good game plan though. That can be used though.
So I use ice as an example. Boss Life competition. Boss Life competition was all upper body. It's dips, pull, push. 60 seconds on, 30 seconds off. Ice did this competition with shoulder injury. He legit was about to get surgery on his shoulder, so the dips he couldn't do. He just did a few to say he did a few. He did like, Ice is still an alien, so he still put up 50, but he did like 10, got off, no urgency, just go through the motions. When he got to the pull-up bar and the push-up bar, he went absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Ends up winning the overall. Beat me for the overall. And mind you, on the dips, I put up 80 something on the dips. I beat Ice by maybe 30, 40 on the dips. It's still a hurt Ice, but I'll take it. I beat Ice. I'm gonna brag till the day I die. But the pull-up, he beat me, and the push-up, he beat me, and when you added all three together, he won. You feel me? So I could just be honest. Like, Ice is my big brother, my mentor, and, I just acknowledge I won. I just wanted, I took it as a reality check, like, damn, I can't even beat this man pre-surgery, but then in the same breath, it's just kind of like, damn, maybe I should have sacrificed the dips too, because I put up 80 something. By the time I got to the pull and the push, I was burnt.
Because that's kind of like strategy.
It becomes chess.
Strategy.
Yeah, because he knows that all those, even if he could do dips,
Exactly.
he couldn't. But I feel like even if he could do dips and he chose to do that's strategy, because he knows the other movements would.
Yeah, but you see, the what I'm saying is he was hurt, so it's understood.
Yeah.
You feel me? But the person that's come in healthy and everything, and they do something like that, do you lose respect for that athlete, or do you be like, wow, that was a great chess move?
I wouldn't lose respect, because, like you just said, it was a good move. The name of the game is endurance.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, even if you're doing dips, pulls, and push, you're training. You're working out the whole time. You know what I mean? You're using your endurance to do the dips, the pulls, and the push.
All right, I got another one for y'all. The 5-minute drill. We've all seen a million athletes do this move. So, do you respect the person that schemes it or the person that bangs it? And who got the better workout? Who got the better workout? Ooh. I can do one pull-up and 2 push-ups 50 times and get that under 5 minutes. And you do the set 50 pull-ups and 100 push-ups unbroken. We just did the same exact numbers, but who got the better workout?
I think the person that did the one pull and 2 push, 50 times.
Got a better workout?
Got a better
I don't know. It's tricky though
'Cause
because it's 2 different type of workout
Yeah.
that you could get. You could
A
get
big
the
clip.
cardio. You could get the up and
One
down.
pull-up, 2 push-ups is essentially 50 burpees
That's what
involved
I'm
on the
saying.
low. Because
So
you got to get up
that's
off
like
that
a
push-up,
good-
you got to jump up to that bar
That's a
every
good
time.
cardio workout, and then when you do the
big clips.
straight big clips, that's
Yeah.
strength workout.
And the 50 and 100, exactly. So, it's a chess move. It
Yeah.
comes down to your preference. Us as barbarians, as Spartans, we see the value in both. We have that itch on some, like, I want to do both.
Mhm.
But the barbarian way is the true 5 and 50
Right.
and 100.
Facts.
50 and 100.
Because that's, like I said, you got to think about it too of how many people can actually do this.
Right.
A lot of people can do 1 and 2. How many can do 50 and 100? A very select few in the world. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
So I do feel like when it comes to competition, go ahead.
But
What
I
you
could
think?
see why somebody wouldn't respect that in competition, but I can also see why they would, being that it's chess, because it's a competition. The object is to win, right?
To win.
Mhm.
But also, if you're looking at it from a calisthenics point of view, the game is to show your strength. We're all doing the same thing.
The
Instead
clips,
of, you know what I'm
yes.
saying? So let's all do the push up, let's all do the pulls, you know what I'm saying? So you can show your endurance at the end of the day. Instead of just sacrificing a few moves and
Okay, another example. Shredder versus Eric. They battled on That's Good Money channel a few years ago. I believe it was like a 10 down, 10 pull up, 10 muscle up. It was somebody in the comments correct me, but it was something to that nature. And Eric is sitting there with a timer, and 3 get off. 3 get off. And Shredder going up there, 10, 10, 9, banging it. And then when it got to like the 7s, it hit him like a brick wall. And what's the name is still on his game plan. Do 3, rest 20 seconds, or whatever his game plan was.
Yeah, yeah.
He ended up winning this thing when Shredder was still in the 6s. So, like you said, and the physiques as well, because Shredder has muscles on his muscles. So his physique showed that, if you want that look, this is how you train. You train unbroken. You don't do that like endurance stuff or etc. But if you're trying to win, this might be the better strategy. You understand? Because that's what I love about Eric, because Eric is one of the smartest athletes out there. He knows his weaknesses, he knows his strength. And we also train that way as well. If I know I'm not as good as you in this, I'm gonna train it and then try to, scheme it or whatever works for me in the moment.
Do you see that being kind of like the way competitions move in the future?
what schemes?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So my
That's a
question
fact.
is, what do you prefer, a scheme? I mean, not a scheme, a competition or a battle?
I personally
And I have
prefer,
another question after that.
I prefer a competition. Because a battle is cool, don't get me wrong, but me as an athlete, I want smoke with everybody.
Right, but let's say the person you're going against has gone into these competitions, got overall in first place, and you're gonna battle him.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, if you win that battle, you're beating everybody in that
everybody
other
that he
competition. You know what I mean?
Not necessarily, because this was an old topic that I'll bring it back up, but I know a lot of people, before me and before ICE, people that compete and people that battle did not have success in the other worlds. Like the battlers were getting dogged in competition and vice versa, because it's 2 different styles of training. The first person that came and bridged the gap was ICE. ICE came in and violated, and then him training me, that's what I did. I battle and I compete, both at a winning level. So I personally, like I said, to answer your question, I like competitions better because, in a good competition, I'm going for the overall. I'm a lightweight, but I'm trying to beat everybody here. So it's me versus 50 people, as opposed to a battle is me versus you, which is cool, but I feel more accomplished.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
it feels better to know, like, yo, I was the top dude out of everyone that wanted to do this. You get what I mean? Or my division, everyone in my weight class, I conquered them. As far as like, to me, a battle is more personal. Like I said, to me, it's like a grudge match. I think you're overrated. So let's see. I think unbroken is the way. You think scheming is the way. Let's settle it. Let's see. Bring your scheme shit. I'll bring my own broken shit, and we'll see who wins. You know, from me.
Or we both bring our schemes and see who schemed better.
That's
Like.
true. That's true.
Exactly.
So what do you think is the hardest movement in a battle?
Muscle up.
Muscle up?
I've never seen a clean muscle up in a battle yet.
Yeah.
I've never seen in a New York based, not New York, American based competition, because battles are designed to have
High intensity.
a lot of numbers. You're doing 100 of this, then 100 of that, and then we're giving you, especially the bar brawl. Doc is known for giving you routines that's gonna keep you up at night.
Yeah.
So when you're doing 200-300 movements and then you have to do muscle ups after, the average athlete is not gonna have it like that. It's gonna be a lot of knees, it's gonna be chicken wings or whatever, because you're burnt. You know, but then in the same breath, because this topic is gonna go on forever.
I don't know.
Because I've seen clean muscle ups after. So if she puts up a clean and you put up a dirty,
That's true.
You know, I honestly, I thought it was gonna be pull-ups. I think it's pull-ups.
Pull-ups?
I've seen people get caught up on pull-ups, in a sense. Yeah.
in what sense?
Like hit
not
walls?
locking
Hit
out,
walls.
not getting high enough.
Not locking out, them not counting it, and then they're getting frustrated
They
because
hit
it's
wall.
not counting, and then they hit a wall.
Muscle
And
up.
then eventually they
Yeah.
get stuck on that. For
Yeah.
example, like I seen this one bro, man. When D-Real went against
Oh, homie from Boston.
yes.
Yeah, he hit the Great Wall of China,
couldn't-
boy.
Like it was just from the jump on the pulls, it was.
You know what that
gone.
was though? The gait is different.
The
We
environment,
train
yeah.
thick bar.
Yeah.
So that thick bar changes the game, your whole forearms, your grip, your everything. He was not prepared for that. And they did a weighted routine, if I remember.
It was weighted.
It was
yeah.
weighted pulls.
It was weighted, but them dudes, they trained that. They trained the plates, you know?
Apparently not
Apparently
enough.
not in that one. Not on that one.
Apparently not enough, because that was his coming out party
Yo.
and retirement party, same day. Same day. So yeah, that's a good thing. Let's hear from y'all now, because we could go on all day about this. If y'all get spicy enough in the comments, I'm very much down to do this topic, a part 2 of this one. So definitely jump into topics, the after parties in the topics. Topics. Why am I saying topics?
Topics.
The after parties in the comments. So make sure y'all thank you for tuning in to this episode. Thank you to Chi and Jordan for joining me on this. Make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe. Help your boy get these subs, man. And tune in for the next episode. Thank you for watching this video. And if you enjoyed this video, please make sure you like, share, and subscribe, because there is plenty more to come from Team Spartaa.
Open bar.